Okay. First of all, I want to thank you so much. Thank you so much, Shari, for interviewing with the Davi magazine. What have you been up to during the lockdown period? How have you been keeping?
Yeah, well, thank you for having me. Thank you for inviting me on, firstly. Lockdown has been good. It's been a very busy period for me, for the events industry, which is predominantly where we're kind of based and what we work in. So it's been a period of adjustment and kind of new changes, but really exciting, and also a great opportunity to kind of slow down a little bit at the same time and be at home a little bit more. So it's been good.
Of course, good. And talk me a bit about through your background.
So for my background, I come from an events organization background. So I've worked doing that for about 10 years now. I've worked across kind of different sectors, but mainly in the finance sector. So that's kind of where I got my start in a membership body, and then kind of worked my way up, and worked for a period of time at different financial institutions. And that's kind of how my ideas for kind of creating events around finance and the Black community kind of got started.
Okay, wow. And your creation, Black Business Network, for people who don't know, what is it all about?
So Black Business Network is a company that I founded about 2 years ago now. And our primary focus is putting on events for the community, basically for the Black business community. Our events kind of focus on knowledge transfer and, personal development, skill development and networking for Black business owners. And our focus is really kind of about bringing people together to kind of share skills and share experience and knowledge. So that's what Black Business Network primarily do. We're also on platforms. So obviously we're on, all the social media platforms. And we love doing things like this as well, interviews where we get an opportunity to kind of share what we're about, and hopefully attract more people to join our network, join our club. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Sounds amazing. And what inspired you to create it?
Well, yeah, as I said, I was working in the events industry for a really long time. And kind of, especially when I got into the finance sector, I think what really struck me was kind of the lack of presence we had at these events. We'd have a presence when it came to people kind of being sent for work purposes. But in terms of us just kind of turning up to engage, and, take on that kind of information, we really weren't there. And because of that, that's what made me kind of think, actually, let me use the skills I have to, try and create something that speaks to us, and then creates an environment that we really feel comfortable in to come and learn. And finance was a primary focus for me, just because there is such a kind of huge gap, I think, sometimes when we talk about, what it's like between minority communities versus what it's like for, the wider white society. The wealth gap's always increasing. And I think it's important for us to always kind of be focused on how we can improve that, how we can develop as a community, and how we can really push our businesses as well to kind of develop and become the kind of big, strong brands that we see, everywhere else.
Yeah, for sure. And with that, talking about brands, what makes your brand different to other similar companies?
I mean, I
What's
don't
your
know.
USP?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's necessarily different, but definitely what we always like to say is that we are focused on the Black community as opposed to the BAME community. And we really don't look at that as a negative thing. While we know that there are needs across all those communities, when we're talking about minority ethnic communities, we know that there's a need for work in all of those communities, but not all of our needs are the same, and it can't always be a kind of one size fits all solution for everybody, and that's where we really feel like we come into play. We really kind of try to focus on what we think is the new style of diversity, which is really honing in on a community, honing in on their problems and targeting them directly, so that to ensure we actually get the right solutions for the right communities.
Okay, so it's more targeted to just Blacks as opposed to BAMEs, a more focused group of people.
Yes, that's it. I mean, and we obviously have attendees from all different backgrounds, white, Asian, everybody kind of attends and always enjoys our events, and our knowledge is open to all. But yes, our primary focus is always on making sure that, the Black community primarily knows that this is for them, and this is a comfortable, safe space for them to come and learn in.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
And growing up, was there anything else you wanted to do? What was this always the end goal for you?
I don't know if this was definitely the end goal. I definitely wanted to be in events. So when I graduated from university, I knew I wanted to be in events. My brother-in-law had like got me some kind of work experience at things like the Mobo Awards,
Oh wow.
Screen Nation Awards, if anyone remembers those as well. Like years ago, I went to the
What was
Screen
that one
Nation
called? It's
Screen Nation Awards. They
Green
used to be
Nation.
like,
Oh,
yeah, like they were like Black British Film and TV Awards, which were really,
okay.
really great as well. I think they're online now, but
Yeah.
I'd done like work experience at all those kind of things while I was
Oh
at
wow.
university, and I just really wanted to kind of get into events. So I came out of uni and at first I got a job just doing basic admin and being an office manager, and I absolutely hated it. Even though I loved the people, but I absolutely hated it. Um, and I decided, one day to just basically take the plunge. So I left that job, and I didn't have another job. But I decided I was going to use that time and work for free. So I kind of, moved home, was living with my mum, working and volunteering for free at loads of different kind of events and organizations and charities, and was able to kind of build my CV that way. And then eventually kind of get a full-time, paid events job. And I think that was always my focus. But then obviously over the years and, the more I've kind of learned about the industry, learned how it's worked, and just seeing our participation, and also kind of seeing my community and seeing where I feel like we need to kind of fill those gaps. I just think, it was just a perfect combination and a perfect timing as well for me to kind of get out there and start doing it. And I'd been doing smaller events and community things and think tank groups and loads of different things that kind of inspired me in the community and making me want to kind of take action. And that was
Yeah.
really what kind of spun into Black Business Network. And yeah, here we are now.
They all led us to this day, this
Yeah.
creation right now. It's all kind of part of the process, part of the journey towards BBN, the Black Business Network, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. And tell me about some of the early challenges you faced starting up. I know a lot of entrepreneurs face challenges as they begin starting up a business. What are some of your early challenges?
I think definitely at first, strangely enough, actually the name and the fact that we wanted to be Black Business Network as opposed to, having a BAME focus. I think initially that scared people, that made people feel like it meant it wasn't all inclusive, or, it was segregating. So a lot of our earliest struggles were kind of just explaining that no, we are kind of open and welcome to all, but we just want to have a focus, and that's what makes us kind of unique. And for all the reasons I explained previously of why we actually need sometimes to have our own and be able to stand in our own, and not be scared of that, and that other communities do that and there's no fear behind that, so we shouldn't have any kind of fears around that either. So that was definitely one of the earlier roadblocks. And then just kind of the usual things I think that lots of Black business owners face, and the things we hear as well, kind of working, but things around getting finance, getting financial support, getting sponsorship from different corporations, trying to explain the need, I think sometimes for events like this, the need for companies like ours to a wider society that doesn't necessarily understand the kind of issues that we face. So I think it's definitely hard sometimes to gain that corporate support or that financial support that you may need, but the shift is definitely happening, and I think we're really happy and proud to kind of be a part of changing that as well with our events like Black Investor 360, and really trying to kind of bring that community to the forefront and say actually there are people actively out here, actively working, trying to support Black businesses in that way, to help them get funding, to help them get the knowledge, and to help them to grow. So that's really kind of
Amazing. Yeah, amazing. Keep on inspiring people. So keep on empowering individuals. Keep on going.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. That's really kind of you guys.
And with that, how much has the Black Business Network been informed by your own personal experiences?
Oh well, massively. It's it's my kind of little baby, to be honest. I sometimes don't even really think of it as like a company or an organization, more so as just my little pet project, because it's so tied into who I am as a person. As I said, working events, seeing the lack, my personal experience growing up, being in the corporate world even, that's a that we touch on at our events as well, when we talk about just being a Black person in the corporate world and what that experience is often like as well. Through that, it sounds, I think for some people it might sound so generic and such a basic thing, but you know, as a person of color moving into the corporate world, it can be really, you know, quite intimidating. And, you know, we talk about things like imposter syndrome, and, you know, we provide those kind of networks so that we can speak freely and we can discuss issues like that and how it's affecting us, and, you know, hair at work and all the things that
Yeah, that's
you know, generic, but actually have such a massive impact on our mental health, our mental well-being, you know, and just how we can kind of work together and tie all those things in together. So yeah, it's really cool.
That's good. What I like that is that you focus on blacks, because talking about finance, you see a lot of, rather than BAMEs, you see a lot of Asians in finance. You see a lot of Asians in banking finance, whereas blacks seem not to get enough visibility, recognition in these kind of industries, these fields, which is something that should change, or that needs to change.
Yeah, and I mean, we work with great organisations. So, for example, the UK has less than 1% of asset managers in finance, even though they tend to see actually the biggest turnovers from BAME asset managers as well. So that's one of the areas that we always talk about as well, and trying to increase, you know, the more people that are coming into that area from our community, and also elevating those people to leadership positions. And we work with great organisations, again, like Talk About Black, for example, which is, you know, fronted by Gavin Lewis, and that's all about kind of really pushing, you know, Black people in the finance industry on that professional level, and really seeking leadership positions, you know, instead of us always kind of being put in these back office operational roles, because there's a number of us working in finance, you know, and I've been in Canary Wharf to attest to that. There's a number of us down there, but we just don't get the shine or the elevation that we necessarily should. And I guess, again, I'm just happy to be a part of kind of bringing awareness to that as well.
That's true. That's it. And with Black Business Network, the narrative should soon change. You know, that there should be a way forward with companies like yours.
Yeah, absolutely.
Surely.
That's what we hope anyway, right? That's what we work.
Of course. Let's take it away. Let's briefly change topics. And something that has been trending over the last few weeks, as you know, is that police brutality in America.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on
that? So many thoughts, really. Number one, draining. It's exhausting now. I feel like, you know, for Black people, it's this kind of ever-present kind of feeling that kind of hurts as well. So I think that's the first thing to say. You know, it's always sad, and it's always kind of quite painful and traumatic for us to be seeing these images all over the time, and for them constantly to be flashed in our face. So I always feel like the first thing we should always talk about is the preservation of our mental health, and understand that also that's a part of the kind of tools that work against us as a community when we're being shown this kind of imagery. But also that, you know, this has been a great time that I've seen, you know, people more engaged than ever, whether it was the corona lockdown or, you know, simply kind of people actually just coming around and having a little bit more understanding. But I think for the first time ever, really, or not ever, but for a long time, we've really kind of managed to capture the ear of people, even for a short period of time. But I don't think we should be bogged down or carried away with symbolism or the focus on allyship. While those things are great tools and can be used in a great way, I think our focus should always be on building within ourselves, building within our community, and then always kind of trying to use allyship in a really effective way. As opposed to, you know, again, a symbol or a picture on Instagram. If we're going to engage, it should always be in a way that's going to benefit our community in a real way. So taking away real tangibles from it. And I think, you know, that's the one thing over here we can definitely say we'd be able to maybe take some of those from the movement and kind of apply it to what we're doing over here, and trying to how we, you know, look to move forward. On a more general kind of scale, or not general scale, but kind of focusing in more on actual Black lives, I think it's always important that we champion and speak on behalf of those people, you know, and also, you know, again, look for active change, support, you know, our American brethren, and also look for active change right here in our home country as well, and understand that this is not just an American issue. Police brutality you know, microaggressions, racism, white supremacy in general is a global thing. And, you know, there are global effects, and we have our own battles and our own things to fight over here. And definitely we cannot overlook the kind of police brutality we've seen against young Black people over here, you know, stop and search rules. And I think those are things we need to address. And again, I'm happy and proud to see just how much we've been mobilizing and moving, and how many Black people are getting out there with various organizations, you know, not just ours. We're focused on business, but I've seen, you know, groups around youth, youth working, going into the police and running, you know, diversity training. And, you know, whether those things all have an impact, time will tell. But I think to see us actually doing the work and coming together, and I think we're definitely more organized than ever, and we all have our own lane, our own role to play in this game. And I think if we all do that, you know, and stick to the message of actually community empowerment is our main focus, we should see real significant changes. And I like to look at the positives and think of it that way.
For sure, yeah, for sure. And we do know all lives matter, but Black Lives Matter
Yes,
even
Black
more,
Lives
just as much.
Matter.
Yeah, so that's what we're going for.
That's it.
Yeah. What's going back to yourself and your company, what's your single most favorite moment during your time as the CEO?
Oh my God! The day we had our first Black Investor 360 event, 120%. You know, we had worked so hard to get to that kind of moment. We held the conference at Olympia London Conference Centre, which itself was kind of a big gesture, a big attempt. And, you know, we got so much love and support. The feedback was overwhelming. And so many people who loved the whole thing and, you know, loved being a part of it. So definitely kind of seeing that all come to fruition, although the like years of planning and hard work, and seeing that pay off, and seeing how happy it made and the difference that it made in the community was definitely the highlight so far. Yeah.
Yeah. For sure, because some people, when I ask people these questions, some people, they find it so hard to put it into one, but that was easy for you. You say,
Yeah,
this one, I've had so many every day.
Yeah.
What about your the women in business brunch as well?
Yes. So I mean, we also kind of do a brunch event, networking events, as I said. So we have smaller networking events, and our brunch event is one that we're really growing at the moment. We have it on International Women's Day, and it's just a really beautiful celebration of kind of Black women in business coming together. We have a panel session, and this year it was led by Kubi Springer, who's an expert in marketing, and she talked about her book and her experience. And we had a great panel, you know, featuring Ronke Lawler, and we had Paula Perry, and the beautiful ladies from Business Mix on the Colourful Network, on Colourful Radio. And yeah, it was just a great celebration. Ladies came together. We had lots of rum punch, and we discussed lots of issues, and we took lots of beautiful photos, and it was a great day. And I mean, again, that's the type of thing that we like to do as well. You know, we like to try and add a little element of style into our networking, so we create, you know, a really nice environment for people to come in and really feel relaxed and enjoy. And that's why I find you get the most open conversations, and you know, you start finding the most open solutions as well. So it's good.
For sure, that sounds amazing. Absolutely amazing, Shari.
Oh, definitely. We'll have to get you at one of our events.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to be round to one of your events very soon.
We're back to live events, 110%. You have to come down and join
for
us.
Sure, after coronavirus, I'm there.
Yeah, awesome.
Rum punch, you so able with that.
Exactly right. You have to have a little bit of rum punch. It's a celebration as well.
You gotta have the flavor, of course. I don't for this may be tricky, but where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
In the next 5 years, really just continuing to build. You know, we hope to have a number of different conferences. So we've got a few different ideas coming up immediately. We're getting ready to kind of launch a series of different webinars. You know, just focus again around different Black industries and stuff like that. We'll be collaborating with some great people. So we're excited to kind of announce that. But definitely in 5 years, we'd love to, you know, have at least 2 or 3 conferences that we feel really kind of make a genuine impact and change in the community. And yeah, you know, just be reaching more people and helping, you know, more Black business owners kind of get their business off on the right track, helping more Black business owners really connect and actually see real networks and, you know, real exchange of businesses and power coming out of it, and just see us develop and, you know, really strengthen our kind of Black British middle class to upper class community, and, you know, become that strong kind of, you know, independent network that we can kind of really offer something for not just us, but for the generations to come, and to continue to build that. So that's always our kind of end goal and focus. And yeah, 5 years, 10 years, it will always be to make sure that we're giving back to the community, and that we're building for our future generations to come. So
For sure. And you're focusing mostly on the UK for now, but would maybe another goal be to go global and, you
oh
know, expand
yeah.
your networks?
Yeah, that's it. And I mean, this is actually, it's weird because obviously now we're talking about, you know, we're in a coronavirus time. So everything is, you know, virtual and
Of course.
more interactive. So this does give us an opportunity to really kind of open and expand our network to, you know, people outside of the UK now, and have our people from all around the world join our events. And we certainly hope that happens, and that, yeah, as we continue to kind of have features like this and be more based online, that we'll see that presence grow and eventually be able to kind of, yeah, host live events, you know, across the globe. Well, listen, like we said already, white supremacy is global, right? So, you know, we work everywhere, and we have support from loads of different places, and we have lots of people, you know, like in Nigeria who follow us. We have people in the US and Europe that follow us. So we, you know, we're all about it. And I'm a global person. I love traveling. I've always traveled for events and organized events around the world for different companies as well. So you know, I would love to be able to do it for myself and bring that to
For sure.
my community.
Do it for the culture. Even take it
for the culture, right? That's it. The global diaspora.
Take it to the Caribbean.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. We take it everywhere. Take it global. There's a need for it, right? Everywhere we go, we know that the wealth gap between, you know, Black people and white people is significant. So there's a need for it everywhere. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and for yourself, do you have any advice for those that are maybe a bit hesitant and they may want to take the plunge to start their own, you know, entrepreneurial adventure, but they may have some doubts? What would you say to them?
Believe in yourself, really. That's all you can do. Just, do you know what, if it's not making you scared, then it's probably because you're not meant to do it. When you have that biggest fear, that biggest knot in your stomach, that's when you really know that you are kind of working towards your real true purpose and goals, and you're making a significant change. So use that feeling and kind of, you know, put it into everything that you do. And just take that next step, really. You just don't know what can happen, and the worst is a no. And, you know, if you fall, you just get up and keep going again. So really and truly, the best advice I could give you is just, you know, face that fear, use it, conquer it, hold it, take it, and, you know, put it into everything that you're going to do, and put your passion into everything you're going to do. And I listen to a lot of Lisa Nichols. If you don't know who she is, Google her. She's got great talks specifically about fear and how to conquer that, and really, you know, go towards working towards your purpose. And I think that's what it should always be about. So yeah.
Wow, words of wisdom, Shari. Words of wisdom there.
Thank you. Thank you.
Advice. For anyone listening, any budding entrepreneurs out there, you've heard it here. Your key tips.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's all you can do is just go for it, guys. And we need you. We need more business owners. We need, you know, more industry. We need to fulfill kind of all our kind of basic needs and stuff like that. If we're truly to be, you know, a sustainable community that can provide for our children, then we need Black business owners on every level. So
for sure, 100%. And finally, at the W Magazine, we love to ask our guests, if you had an opportunity to ask your old self, to speak with your old self, what would you say and why?
I mean, very similar. Just don't be scared. Don't wait so long. Trust yourself. Trust your skills. You know, and just go and learn. And don't let any of these kind of, you know, middle-aged white men in offices bully you. Don't let them ever make you feel like you're not good enough, or you can't, you know, get a job done because you do it all the time. And yeah, just take that and run with it, girl, because you got it, and you're gonna get there eventually. So yeah.
Love that. Love that. Yeah. Again, for everyone watching, you've heard that. You've heard that's for you guys. You've heard it. The juice has been spilled. The tea. We've had all the tea has been spilled here today. So amazing. Love that, Shari. Okay, thank you very much for taking the time out to interview the Davy magazine.
No, thank you for having me. It's been really fun. Thank you.